Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Kubera. Welcome to today's episode. How many Bitcoins are gone forever? We're going to go through Bitcoin. Hopefully you can hear me now and everything's going to be all good, unlike the last previous 2-minute broadcast, which if I have it removed, that'll be removed shortly. So I give this about 30 minutes. We're going to chat about Bitcoin. We're going to chat about some news stories. And this is coming from a piece back in November 2017. So that one was actually nearby the price of Bitcoin as it is today. So hopefully my mic's a little bit better because my laptop's like overheating right now. This would not be good to mine Bitcoins from. Anyways, regardless, before we start off, I just want to say, it sucks that today we had to lose a very bright man. I wanted to say a bright young man. He lived to 76, Stephen Hawking. All my respects to him. He was... I always have been a big space geek, but hey, stuff happens. So anyways, as you can see, it's a beautiful sunny morning, 7:21 in the morning here for you Americans out there. What are you doing up so late? But Bitcoin is at $9,217, where this original story was discussing the prices at Bitcoin around $78.59. But how many Bitcoins are gone forever? To give you the rounded up numbers, based on 21 million total, which compared to Ethereum, there's always going to be more getting mined, and there's multiple factors going against Ethereum, even though Ethereum is better because it's faster, better from my opinion and better from other people's opinions. However, I still believe Bitcoin is wonderful and beautiful and da-da-da-da-da. It's much more efficient. The transaction fees are lower. Although Bitcoin's transaction fees recently went down, which was a nice improvement, but a lot of people were freaking out. And we're going to chat about the Winklevosses a little bit and the Bitcoin whale, as was mentioned in previous videos too. So just want to double check now. Hopefully, there we go. Sound's working. Everything's fine now. So, and we had 12 viewers before. And I guess we lost them because everyone was so upset that the sound didn't work on the previous one. I'm doing fantastic. 1 million gone total. Actually, it's not 1 million gone total. So out of circulation, there's 30 to 50% likely to be lost. And the total coins lost, 2.56 million, around there. Now, since this is from November 2017, I'm guessing it's even a little bit more, but we're still going to go with those figures, whatever. So let's just say 2.6 million coins lost. With the price of Bitcoin being $78.59, that value was around $20 billion. So with the value being $9,200, that goes up quite a bit. Now, with a Bitcoin value of $20,000, woo, that's some numbers that we're talking about there. But the current market cap of Bitcoin, to give things into perspective, is $156 billion right now. So it's doing decent, and the total market cap's 388 billion. Under 400, we saw it approaching 900 billion not long ago. But hey, out of the original coins likely to be lost, around 1 million coins. And buying, selling, strategic. So yeah, it goes through. Out of the original coins, 1 out of those 2.56 million. That just goes, that's a lot. That's a lot. And a lot of people are asking, well, how do you lose a coin? Well, let's say, you hear these stories of that one guy who had a wallet of 10,000 Bitcoins and, is stuck on his hard drive and he's looking through the dumpsters. He's not going to find it, right? Or somebody dies. Now there's inheritances and Bitcoins are being written down with the public and private keys. But there's people who have wallets with a lot of Bitcoins and probably other altcoins now, and then they just die. Something happens, they get hit by a bus or they get a heart attack, or I don't know, maybe they forget. They could go out to a restaurant, they drink so much wine that they just forget where they stored their password. Something silly like that. Me personally, I admit I made a video on this before. It sucks, but I lost 0.9 Ethereum in a wallet just because I forgot the password. And that's that. I lost the Ethereum. Now, at the time, it really sucked because I wanted to sell that Ethereum for a profit because I bought that 0.9 Ethereum for a profit. And I knew, it was around, what, $80? $80. A couple months later, it was valued at a couple $100. Now, that $80, I wanted to sell it for around 120. And that's when I discovered, there's problems with my wallet. And then I went on for a couple of weeks, and I still had hope that I would receive my Ethereum. Everything would be fine. I saw the price of Ethereum going up. But when I finally, maybe some of you guys didn't hear this story, but pretty much before I realized I forgot the password, I was using a different wallet than everybody else, missed. I decided to go with something more secure where I was the only Mac user. And I was talking with the developer to try and get this Ethereum wallet to be better. What was it called? Zeth or something like that. He fixed it, finally, glitched out, and you have to wait till like 2 million blocks are mined and everything's going to be all Gucci. All right, so that's cool. Well, eventually I get into the program, everything's mined and updated. I go in and I realize, holy moly, there's a password. I don't remember making a password. I talk with the dev and he's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do for you. Whoops. Now that 0.9 Ethereum, even though Ethereum did drop, at a point it was worth over $1,000. Maybe in a year or 2 or 5 years, it's going to be worth $10,000. So it's going to hurt the more time passes by, but I've got no access to it. And that's a small story. We're currently, it's worth like $550 or whatever, or $600. There's people out there I know personally who have lost wallets worth 5-6 figures. And I know there's got to be people out there, with 7-8 figures who, at that point, some people gave up and they never returned to blockchain again. Other people have decided, you know what, it is what it is. You lose your money, and that's that. And there's a lot of these situations, kind of like how, ships lost gold, or, money's burned, or even in Pablo Escobar's case where he buried his money and rats ate the money. He literally lost thousands of dollars every month just because the rats ate his dollar bills. He shoved it down under trees and in the countryside, and it just rotted. That's crazy to think about. Bitcoin could have solved Pablo's solutions there, but that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. The Winklevosses are one of the greatest hopes for Bitcoin. They're giant supporters, of course, because they're holding stuff that at one point was worth over $1 billion in Bitcoin for each brother. They got their own exchange, Gemini, and they're looking into other projects. They're investing into projects. Of course, they're going to be trying to support the further growth and expansion of Bitcoin. I'm not too worried, although it kind of sucks that I have to sell off some of my crypto to pay the bills. I know that's just part of the process. I'm not a millionaire yet, so whatever. It's just the journey that you got to go through. And there's bear markets, there's bull markets. We don't really know even when we're in a bear market or bull market sometimes because it happens so quickly. Other times you see it months ahead, but whatever. Everybody who's saying they're an expert in this, nobody's an expert. I'm certainly far away from it, and anybody who does, you should be wary of. But people have lost fortunes, and hopefully you're not selling. You got to hodl. That's exactly what it is. The Winklevosses are saying that they see Bitcoin at $320,000. I don't really care about those predictions. I'm sure none of you guys do, but there is, a couple arguments that the Winklevosses do make. But one that's not even an argument. It's just the fact that there's a lack of imagination, as the Winklevosses called it, where they said Bitcoin is still in its infancy right now. Or if you look back at last year and the year before that and the year before that, the past 3 years, there's been a lot of these moments where for a couple months, everything's just really bad, right? It's not just Bitcoin, it's the altcoins, everything. There's a lot of fear. And currently, there's some of this fear where I even started visiting these anti-Bitcoin websites just to see what they're writing. And they're making it out as the $400 million Japanese whale, Kobayashi from Mt. Gox, is like the greatest thing ever that's happened. Where holy moly, Bitcoin's dead because this dude sold $400 million of the Bitcoin. Wow, $400 million worth of Bitcoin against something that has a market cap of $156 billion currently, where that was spread out over months' time. Like that does, sure, it makes a small dent in the whole equation, but it's mainly just panic sellers, people who are freaking out, the weak hands, where they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. One thing you got to look at, Kobayashi, his $400 million out of the $1.6 billion that he has, or $1.7 billion. It's a small fraction, right? So these guys know what they're doing when they're selling off these Bitcoins. And a lot of these guys, they're not selling off because they think it's dead. They're selling off because they're making profit regardless. When you buy Bitcoin at 1/10, 1/100th, 1/1000th of what it's worth right now, even in a bear market where it lost, a third of its value, of course you're not going to care if you sell it off. And he was supposedly averaging 10,000 plus a Bitcoin, which isn't bad considering now it's at $9,000. So whatever, it's just one of those things. But there's going to be a lot of people who freak out. A lot of my friends and family members, well, rather acquaintances, people who get annoyed when you chat about Bitcoin and blockchain technology because it's something you just love, right? You wake up, maybe I'm not obsessed 100% with it, but I'm obsessed pretty much like 99.99% because I got nothing else that I'm super passionate about. I mean, there's other projects, but this is what I'm into right now, and I've been loving it since. But there's a lot of people, you just hear that, or you see it, you mention Bitcoin, and when the markets are great, they're super excited because they want to make money. But when the markets are bad, they don't want to hear about it. And you become kind of like the nuisance at the table, sitting around the corner like, it's him again talking about that silly Bitcoin, until it turns around again. And you see these same people, they're going through like these super emotional roller coaster rides. I get it. I go through that same thing, but it's crazy to see it every single time. There's been so many events every single day that go on that with Bitcoin, it's kind of hilarious. But let's just see. Hodl until you lost your passwords. Just reading that again makes me sad. But there's a news story I want to make a video about. South Carolina wants to ban Genesis mining over unregistered securities. I made a video originally on this channel about Genesis mining and cloud mining and why I've never put my money into cloud mining. I've been quite against that. But ever since that original video where it got some, I mean, there's multiple videos on Genesis mining. I always love when there's a juicy piece for it. There was a lot of hate, and people didn't really like that too much. I said, okay, whatever. So I'm going to move on to the next projects, and HYPs were easier to report with. But I'm kind of excited to see this piece finally, because I do want to see Genesis mining fall. And nothing bad against all the people who invested in it. I'm sure a lot of you guys profited and don't care regardless what happens. But also it's kind of sad to the people who will lose money. With cloud mining, most of these operations have some sketchy aspects to it where servers have been down. And you got to ask yourself, when you're making millions of dollars and you're having server issues, unless there's so much people using it right now every single second, where for some exchanges, for some cloud mining programs, whatever you want to call it, yeah, some of them may be receiving a bunch of traffic and there may have been scaling problems. But 99% of them don't have that. They have millions of dollars, and they're just spending it on, Lambos or whatnot. And that just kind of sketches me out when there's a first, second, third, fourth situation like that. Then they go on Twitter, they make up these excuses. They're like, oh, nothing happened. But I'm excited to touch upon that a little bit more in an upcoming video. Coinbase is excited to throw taxes down your throat. So they got a new tool, but that new tool doesn't apply to 99% of you, I guess, once you start reading about it. I made that Binance chain video today. There's a guy named Ari Paul, who mentioned, I think I found a project that will bring cryptocurrency to 1 billion users. Excited. Sorry, no details yet. Enjoy the suspense. Obviously, it's hype. I think it's kind of crap. A lot of people were getting excited over this tweet. It got 700 likes on it so far. But his response to that, when someone asks whether it's Bitcoin, he's like, nah, I think Bitcoin has a good chance of capturing the largest share of crypto value pie long term, but it won't be used by consumers daily in Vietnam or Argentina in the foreseeable future. Very specific there. I'm kind of curious to see what his next response will be. Vietnam and Argentina, huh? I think it's hype, but you always get excited about coins like that. There's another story that I got to make about the people who are coming out against it. IMF chief Lagarde is on the dark side of crypto. He's calling for a lot of regulation that's going on with it. And there's also this, I think it's the Indian Prime Minister, or there's multiple people in the Indian government. That one is a big story that a lot of them are opposing cryptocurrencies. Not only do they want to regulate it, but they want to ban it. And whenever a country wants to ban it, especially a country the size of India, where you've got multiple billionaires invested in ICOs and cryptocurrency projects, you start to ask yourself, first of all, there was a person who was at least decent in the government who opposed these guys, who said, China, sure, they ban cryptocurrencies, but there's multiple countries right now that are regulating cryptos and they're legalizing it. I mean, Japan, another neighbor not too far away, has done just okay with Bitcoin being legal and accepted. And, you know, most people having somebody in their life, if not them, using cryptocurrencies on a daily basis in Japan, right? A lot of people are familiar with Bitcoin. They love Bitcoin, whatever. I'm sure they got somebody walking around like a Bitcoin costume. But there's a lot of countries nearby India that love cryptocurrencies. And there's countries that India does business with that love cryptocurrencies, that if they're legalizing it and these guys are making it illegal, that's kind of bad for financial situations and the economy long term if this does turn into a big thing. And also, it's one of those things that if you ban, it's going to be harder. Like your main goal of banning is to try and regulate the crypto, right? But you can't regulate a currency, and it's only making it much more difficult when you ban it. The people who you want to control are going to go even more against you. That's why they're using cryptocurrencies in the first place, right? Avi, don't you trade Forex? The only fun part to Forex is that it's 24/7, but I got that with cryptocurrencies. Actually, I'm in love with that. The fact that I don't have to wait for a certain time, right, until the stock market opens, that always frustrated me. And you always get so nervous. And you can manipulate that so badly, right? I'm watching a TV show right now about markets being closed after disasters, right? So like 9/11, or let's say another disaster happens. When something happens in the crypto world, you know about it within the next second, right? Everybody's going on about it on Twitter, and everybody's like, I kind of like that, because at least you're able to control it, I guess, even though the anarchy is a form of control where you're not able to manipulate it, you're able to work with it. I like that. I don't like the fact that, oh no, the government shut down the stock market for the next week or so because 9/11 just happened, or they blew up the White House or whatever, right? So that's the only thing I like to Forex. I have never really dabbled too much into it because I know people who have risked quite a bit of money on Forex and they didn't see much returns. I can't judge it though, just as I can't judge trading stocks too much. I mean, I do have experience trading stocks, but it's not good. Like, I've made profit, I've been in the green with stocks, but what have I made? You know, a maximum couple, like $2,000 maybe throughout my entire lifetime, compared with cryptocurrencies where hopefully this year it reaches, I don't know, over 7 figures traded. Profit wise, it would be 6 figures, but prohibition could push up the price. Of course, exactly. So whenever, you know, that goes with anything. Obviously, you guys know I'm a firm believer in prohibition. No, obviously I'm against prohibition, but I'm a firm believer in freedom. I guess a libertarian. Mike's streaming late. No, it's actually kind of early, 7:39. Is Bitrex okay? I haven't heard any news lately. It's working just fine for me. Everything's great with it. Well, I mean, I don't know if everything's great, but it's doing okay. Hey, buddy, did you see the launch of the Bitcoin network on KuCoin, selling for 50% of the ICO price so far? That's because a dump just happened with that coin. I have no idea what that is, but whenever that happens, you see something trading for 50% of its value almost instantly. And by instantly, it can mean a couple hours, but it can even go all the way up to, you know, a week into the day it was released on that exchange. Suddenly got a lot of users who were super excited, and they got the coin for an extra 25% or an extra 50 or sometimes even 100% bonus. So let's say it's 50% down, and some hedge fund got it at a 60% bonus. and they started selling already when, you know, it wasn't down anything. They got out, they have their profit, they're happy regardless. They go into the next ICO. So that's always whenever you have nice bonuses set in place. That's why with our current ICO travel block, we decided to go against giving 100% bonus or 50% bonus or something like that, because, you know, that's a thing that you're obviously looking into. For the largest investors and for the team, it's good to vest your coins. So let's say there's a team member who decides, you know what, let me sell off all my coins now. Yeah, obviously that team member or partner who's got like 10% of the coins can 10% of the team's coins. So really, like, let's say 2% or 3% of the total coins or whatever, 1%. Then at that point, yeah, they can manipulate the market for that day, for that week, and it can dramatically change the market cap by, you know, let's say $1 million manipulation changes the market cap by $50 million because of panic, right? So you want to avoid those situations as much as possible. Investing resolves that quite easily. What do you think about Bitcoin Cash? You know, I used to be a little bit more emotional about that stuff recently. I just realized my credit cards are like lying down here with like all my information, like, whatever. But thankfully the camera's facing me here. So I have a funny little story to say. Oh, by the way, thanks to the previous man who donated €2 to me and my live stream wasn't working. And thanks to you for reminding about the sound. But quick little thing. I got my American Express locked. I had to fax in my Chase details, and I had my PayPal locked this week. Almost got my Bank of America locked as well, which that would have made it a perfect, like, all my online resources other than cryptocurrencies getting locked. So American Express got a little triggered when I started using PayPal a little too much. PayPal locked that. They finally unlocked the money that I had. I was able to send it over to another account, but then they locked that one. They were asking again for my social security number, all the verification details. And it's one of those processes that, you know, the first time, whatever, I get it. You get a little upset, you get a little bit frustrated, but by the time you're doing it for the 10th time, it's like, holy moly. And then, you know, I had a nice long 30-minute conversation with the guy who was helping me out this morning with American Express. I was like, yo, listen, all my money is pretty much in crypto. I believe in crypto. You got to get into crypto. Screw the banks, blah, 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 blah. It was just chit chat. But it's funny how the more I go into this and the more transactions you have, the more crap you have to deal with on the daily basis with these banks. But even American Express eventually lost my, all of them suck. What do you think of Maker? I'm actually not even, I don't know anything about Maker. I have zero opinions. If you ask me anything other than, let's say, 15 altcoins on my mind, most of them are in the top 20s. There's some that are a little bit strange. Obviously, you guys know I love Steam. But if you ask me, so your chances of asking about a coin that I know are extremely low, I probably can't say much other than those 15 because I don't care, first of all. And the second one, I'm focused on one project and I'm starting to learn about other cool projects. But at the moment, that's the number one thing. When you have money to work with, then that's when you can kind of, money and time, that's when you can kind of start looking at the other projects. But right now, it's an okay time to buy certain things. Maybe not ICOs, some ICOs, yes. But for altcoins that are looking like they're going to be in the top 20 next, and I'm not saying, oh, this one's going to be the next Bitcoin, this one's going to be the next Ethereum. But, you know, I mean, you got the team, you got everything in place, you got the right influencers, you got the right marketing. Everything's just solid. And as soon as the markets turn around, you know, like, hey, there's money being pumped. There's money being pumped into it right now, but there's going to be 10 times more. So you invest in that. But of course, you diversify it. Then cool. But Mikabear, why are you using a legacy address for Litecoin donations? Segwit is the future. You know, I haven't updated that Litecoin address. I think that one is still from Coinbase, was it? No, never mind. I haven't slept all night, but I'm guessing that was from Bitrex. I forgot which exchange address I used for that. Holy moly. That's interesting. But some of those addresses I haven't been looking at all. So Genesis mining drama, opinions. Oh yeah, so I mentioned about that. I'm kind of excited. I'm making a video about that for my full details, but I've been waiting for it for a little while. With cloud mining and HYPs, I think personally cloud mining's worse, but that's just a personal preference. If you have money to burn and you do your research, maybe it's decent to invest. Let's check if Profitable Morrows, that Ponzi, is still up today. I should do that every week. Just check. Oh, it's still up this week, right? Oh, it's not up this week. Yep, they're up. I give it a couple months, probably. That's just a guess. I'm not even looking at their financials. I just say it's probably a couple months. I doubt there's going to be another Bitcoin happening. Let's end this live stream pretty soon, but let's just look at a couple other titles just to see what's happening out in the Bitcoin world. A federal judge, no, I think that was some old news. Bitcoin, not the answer to cashless economy, says European banks top brass. Yeah, great. You know you love the top brass. I wonder which banks are saying that. They don't actually say specifically which banks, but just 2 days after U.S. Judge Jack B. Weinstein, Weinstein, very reputable name there, nothing against the judge, ruled in favor of the CFTC, affirming its definition of cryptocurrency as a commodity. The regulator gave notice of supplemental legal authority to MyBitcoinPay, a crypto services company charged with fraud. Great. Yeah, we always have a couple of these bad boys ruin the reputation for all their cryptocurrencies. But there's some European banks, I guess, that aren't looking as happy about it's funny, these banks literally are just the same as these emotional children who panic sell and lose money, unless that's what they want us to think. Yeah, they're probably playing a little puppet game behind the scenes where they're like, oh, we're going to look very emotional, but really we're buying up crypto. Maybe that's what they're doing. But the banks don't like decentralization. Oh no, how could they? How could they? You know, I was actually expecting the sunset today, but I mean the sunrise. I guess we're not going to get that. We're going to get clouds, but that's okay. Is Crypto Nick still grounded? I'm waiting for Crypto Nick's Lambo video, you know. What do you think of Binance Coin? It went up 6,600%. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I think you got your numbers wrong, though, because Binance Coin over the past couple of days has gone up like from what? $8 to at maximum $11, and now it's at $10. Whoops, there's no couple thousand. Currently, it's doing 26%, which, hey, that's pretty cool with Binance's new blockchain coming out over the next couple months. So we'll see. Anyways, stay tuned for the previous videos. It was fun to chat. A fireside chat. You know what's a good way to control the fact that you're always going to be making money? There's technically no rules against insider trading. I mean, it gets specific depending on which political position you're going for, but there's certain political positions out there that have nothing against insider trading, and that's where a lot of the, I don't know, ambassadors and ministers and whatnot make millions of dollars, because you're always curious about how the heck are there so many millionaires in Congress or in these European governments out there. And then you realize, oh, well, first of all, you need money to run for a campaign and you need time. And most of these guys have the same traits from running multi-million-dollar businesses that are perfect for politicians, and they have the connections. But I'm curious to see which politicians will have made some sketchy, shady stuff with cryptocurrencies over the next couple of years. We're going to have a couple fun stories. But anyways, my name is Michael Cabrera. Thanks so much for watching me ramble a little bit. I'm getting offline now.